Alrighty guys, so this is part 2. So again, I was talking about how the gold is representing Babylon and Nebuchadnezzar's reign, and because he was so wealthy and had so much dominion over so much land, God gave him that dominion and he represents him as gold. Now, the second part of this statue is the Medo-Persian Empire. And again, this Medo-Persian Empire is represented by silver, and silver is less than gold. And you'll see how each time this material changes, it becomes less and less and less. They were able to last long because they shared their wealth. Silver is the metal used for currency. It is the metal used for money. That's why you see arms crossed like this, because the Medo Empire did not have as much money as the Persian Empire, but the Persians needed the Medo Empire in order to have a fully functioning kingdom. They were then conquered by the Grecian Empire by Alexander the Great. This is now represented by the metal bronze. Bronze is the metal represented by purification and God's judgment. God's judgment over these two kingdoms brought Alexander the Great, and he ruled over a lot of land. He ruled over so much land that he had no more land to conquer, became depressed, and then eventually got sick and died. And that part of the Grecian Empire was between 350 and 323 BC. So they didn't last very long. I mean, he really didn't live very long. He was actually a very young ruler. He really only lived to be about 30 years old. And then we have the legs of iron. If you know what iron looks like, or if you've ever tried to pick anything up that is iron, you would know that it is very heavy and very strong. This metal represents the Roman Empire. We all know that the Roman Empire ruled with an iron fist, meaning that they had an extreme form of punishment. They definitely didn't take anything from anybody. They made sure that if you went against them, they murdered you brutally. And they made sure that anybody else who thought about rebelling against them saw exactly what happened to those who rebelled against them. That is why Jesus was put on a cross just outside the Roman city, because they wanted people to know that as you walked into this Roman-owned city, that if you went against Caesar, this was what the cost was. Romans were known to be the most brutal in execution, whether that be the cross, the upside down cross, the flailing, removal of your skin, things like that. That is why the Roman Empire is always known as the Iron Fist. Just like Daniel prophesies, he knows that Rome will be iron. And why do you have two legs? Just like you have two arms for the Medo-Persian Empire, you have two legs of the Roman Empire, because eventually they do split. This is the Roman Caesar Valentinian, and when Rome split in two, it was split by this man and his brother. I'll show you a photo in a moment. And he ruled the west while his brother ruled the east. This is just Valen. He also ruled, he was the one who ruled the east. And then Daniel tells him that the feet of this statue are made up of a mixture of iron and clay. I don't know if you've ever seen iron or clay, but when you try to mix them together, they don't mix. It becomes an unstable substance. You cannot build anything on mixing iron and clay. They don't mix. So this empire that is being spoken of with the 10 toes, or the 2 feet, will be an empire that is divided within itself. And that is where the book of Revelation connects to the book of Daniel. There's many parts where the books connect, but this is a crucial part, because here Daniel is telling us about the 10 kings mentioned in Revelation as the 10 horns. This will be an unstable nation that turns against itself and crumbles in the end. In verse 34 of chapter 2 of Daniel, we see that Daniel tells Nebuchadnezzar that God takes a stone from a mountain, aka Jesus, the cornerstone, and throws it down to the feet of this statue, causing the entire statue to crumble, because the base of the statue, the foundation of the statue, is made of something unstable. And through that rock, that nation and every other nation that came before it will crumble and will be blown into the wind like it was nothing. This is just a small portion of the larger breakdown in the book of Revelation, where Jesus comes back onto the earth and tramples his enemies and saves the whole earth. He rules and reigns and is the king of the earth once more. Jesus is king. He is on his throne, but he is going to get up from that throne very, very soon, and he will come back for his people, and he will be back for his land. I urge encourage you, if you have not given your life to Jesus yet, please do so, because he will be coming back for his people. And you don't want to be trapped in the tribulation, because it will be World War III. Go in peace and love, and God bless you all.